Matt here, and welcome to the December vlog. And it's almost Christmas time. It's the 16th at the moment, so there's another 9 days left. And this is just sort of a general wrap up of what's sort of left and what's sort of kicking over into the new year in some respects. The biggest topic I'm going to talk about really is new arrivals, because that's where the most things have been happening. I'm going to start off with orders and Kickstarter updates. The biggest one really has been Brick malware. There's been an issue with the t-shirt printing, so Chaos sent a message out many days ago now and sort of said, we've been having issues with the t-shirt suppliers, you know, do you want to, you know, what do you want to do with your order? And I sort of said, well, can't just refund the t-shirt and just ship the rest of it. And then about a day, 2 days later, there's a follow-up email that sort of said, you know, the t-shirt printers sort of almost had a fire under their arse, and because of what we did, and then they've suddenly done everything. So who knows? So hopefully, by the time I turn 28, which is in February, I should have my gondola instructions and the new decals and a few other bits and pieces, so I can start working on those and get those out of the way. I mean, I've already got decals for two of the gondolas already. The custom ones are the Sheffield local one and the New Haven gondolas. So those decals are already here. I just need instructions to get all the parts together, start building the models. So that's nice, I guess. I-Brix as well. I-Brix, and this is why I called it orders / Kickstarters, is that I-Brix is something I kickstarted 2 years ago now. So that was quite a while ago, and they've still not shipped, but they have got into final assembly, because the issue really hasn't been the fact that they haven't been able to produce them, it's that they've been waiting for them to be produced to a level, sort of like revised, and then produce another copy, and then revise, and then produce it to a point where they can actually go for the legalities and the testing and that sort of aspect and certification that they need to actually be shipped out and released. So they've had to wait a while to get through and process all that. So that is pretty much done. So now all they're doing is actually just producing the examples. So eventually it's just a waiting game with I-Brix. I mean, they had quite a good innings. I think it was $117,000, I think it was, on Kickstarter. So they've certainly got enough money to do their things. I think it's just a case of waiting and seeing. And the last one is this tiny little thing here. It's cost me £117, and for those of you who may sort of recognise the pinholes, this is actually a BuWizz. So this is a Bluetooth controlled 4-output battery and Bluetooth controller combo. So it effectively is a bit like the powered up system, except it uses power functions connectors, and there's 4 outputs, and it's smaller. So better for all intents and purposes. The only thing that does kind of bug me is the fact that there's a little pin there, pin out, and I think there's 6. So I think that's actually part of manufacturing. I think that's the testing and possibly the coding, where they actually put the firmware on. So who knows? But I've charged this up. I've given it a few tests. Seems works fine, but it's some guy I will have to look into and that sort of stuff. And there will be a comparison video between this PFx Brick, which I have here, S-Brick, which is actually in the Metro line all the way up there, and power functions, and the new powered up system as well. So I'm going to do a bit of research into that and sort of do a comparison between what they are, what you can do with them, and that sort of thing. So that's going to be an interesting video when I eventually come out with it. And the other thing I want to talk about is something that's actually happened today, is that I've gone out and spent a grand total of £35. And this is going to be an interesting file. So, let's bear with me on this. Here, are 26 sections of straight 9-volt track, and I've checked them. You can sort of see that it's all shiny, it's all metallic. 26 of them, and it's cost me £36, 35 I should say, plus 4 curves and 2 each of left and right switches. Now, for £35, you've got to agree that's a good bargain. I mean, even with the straight track, I mean, even if you're saying a piece of straight track 9-volt is £3, just for sake of argument, there's 26 here. So you're looking at well over £70 just for the straight track. So, and to be honest, the condition of it, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, there's some blemishes, don't get me wrong. And the metal's a bit tarnished in places, but for the money, I mean, for £35, I've gained quite a lot of track I can do a lot of stuff with. And the switches as well. I mean, this is the great thing, is that the reason I like 9-volt and what I'm going to be doing with 9-volt is, aside from building a giant turntable with it, is actually going to build like a little dock area which will have a little switcher and that sort of stuff. So having power functions trains are alright, but having something which can be powered by the track is going to be even better. So that's why I like these. So, you know, it's fantastic to have all this track, especially for the bargain price of £35. On to other things now, and I've had a few issues with some of my models, and Instagram has seen the brunt of my frustrations when I have problems with my models, and I kind of broke up the Suburban tank. And what the other thing I've been working on in LDD of late has been the Camelback. Now, Camelback has been something I've kind of hinted at, and it's been on the list of models I wanted to produce for a while. So what I've done with the Camelback is I've taken the Suburban tank, the sort of like the slightly improved version which I've done and not built yet, following the little incident, is I've stripped it of pretty much all the parts, with the exception of some bits of the boiler, and the chassis and the main sort of drive chassis, and then built a whole new Camelback out of that, and then tweaked it. The front bogey's been through quite a lot of revision, because of the way you have to reverse and revise it so that it sort of pulls everything through correctly. Because the issue is that you have to have it so that it you know, swivels at the top rather than the bottom, because you have to have it in a certain configuration, and it's all a bit of a mess if I'm going to be bluntly honest. But I've got most of the loco complete. I need to fill in the where the boiler is supposed to be in the cab, in the centre cab. That needs still to be done. I need to add back a detail to the fireman section, and I also need to do the tender as well. The tender's the biggest issue, and I haven't even started that yet. I've got a few ideas, and something I'm probably going to do is use the Suburban tank's rear bogie, and strip that down a bit and rework it and use that as the tender bogie, because that should be fairly easy. And the biggest thing obviously is just shrinking the length, because I think it's quite a long bogie, whereas tenders aren't that big. So that's the main thing that I'll need to do. And there are a few other bits and pieces. Gaming, I'm going to try and get back into gaming again. Well, not so much get back into it, but certainly get back into recording it and publishing it. There's been a few hiccups of late. Obviously moving to the 4040p monitor has been a big one. I need to make sure that when I do record and do edit and do publish, that the 1440p footage isn't having a problem. So, you know, I need to check that out. I've also been having issues with the webcam as well. So, I mean, I'm recording to this now, but this is actually the second recording bit for the vlog. I had to stop before because the camera just randomly stopped working. It was a known issue that was introduced in the Windows 10 anniversary update, and I did fix it, worked fine. And then there's been some updates of late, and then they've broken it again. So I had to sort of go back in, fix it again, hack the registry, going on, so on and so forth. So hopefully it'll last as long as I need to do for the vlog. So I also need to do with that, and obviously the original season of Cuisine Royale is finished, which was Italian week, so we're now on the Wild West, which of course I bought the sort of like, not the cookbook, but the sort of screenplay, I think it's called, for this one. So so I've already done that, so I can go. The Overwatch Winter Wonderland is here, so I've been playing some of that. I've actually got, I think it's 2 left for the first week to get that done. I need to complete my competitive placing matches, because I haven't done that yet either. And I've had one loss, but I haven't done the other 9 matches, so I really need to get those under the belt. And really the only other thing to say is that the tables have moved. So obviously here before would have been a little miniature bookcase. That's now gone behind the screens and behind my bedroom door. So the whole desks have been moved backwards. So pretty much everything's as it was before. I still need to do a bit of tidying up and rearranging and that sort of stuff. But it does give me, it feels like it gives me more playroom to work with, even though it's actually less. But it just feels like more. This has all been changed around. So yeah, the biggest thing I really want to do at the moment is get more of these Pappy Max units. But at £20 for 2, it's really expensive. I don't think they're quite worth that. So that's my biggest drawbacks. But I want another stack of those in white, which will go there. I mean, I've obviously got 3 up here, and there's a black one there. So the plan is to put another white one there, black one here, and then have another stack of white here, so it's colour coded. So it will be plates, bricks, and then special elements, and then I'll have obviously these Aldi storage bins, well, sort of regular bins and large bins, and I can use these to store assemblies and that sort of stuff, so I can get on with that. So yeah, it's kind of looking alright. Needs a bit of sorting through and that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's going there. And one of the other things, it's not in that one, it's this one. One of the things I've been working on is tank size for the BMR tank car. So I'm doing one of these in, I think this is bright light blue. Not all the pieces are available in bright light blue, so it's having to be a compromise between bright light blue for some of it and light blue for the others. So this is going to be an interesting video to do, an interesting model to do. So I'm going to just be awaiting parts to start doing that. So that's pretty much it for the vlog. There's not a great deal of news, if I'm going to be bluntly honest. So the biggest thing really coming up is going to be the comparison video for like power functions and S-Brick views and that sort of stuff. And then really it's just going to be just trying to get through all the gaming stuff, because I've got a bit of a backlog. And I think there's a few other bits and pieces I want to go through as well. So there's the vlog for last weekend when I did all my adventuring. Well, it wasn't was it last weekend? No, it would have been the weekend before that, so I still need to do that. I want to do a vlog, sort of like a vlog about the adult evening at the Legoland Birmingham Discovery Centre, or Legoland Discovery Centre Birmingham, to give it its proper name. And I think there might be 1 or 2 other things I want to do, but that's essentially it. So that's it for the vlog, and see you later.